Righto, we're back from the Needles, 1.8 kilometres that way. Mulligan's is back there, 1 kilometre. That's where we go back to the car. But where we're going to go is the Ferntree Forest Walk. So it's another 8 kilometres that way. Let's go. Now I promised you some more history. So here's a little bit more history. Now I'm not 100% certain if it's this road or the road that we walked up from Mulligan's, but one of these two roads was an old logging road. Now this place was logged extensively for many years, just like all the other hardwood forests of Australia. Now Australian hardwood was a very prized product. It was very prized for building docks and wharfs. It was prized for cutting sleepers. And during the 1800s, there was a terrible demand for sleepers. Now, the world was building railroads everywhere, including Australia. And we needed a lot of timber sleepers. We also needed a lot of timber to build railway bridges. It was all built in timber. And the road bridges were built in timber. It was all timber. These type of trees just around me here. Have a look at the size of that tree. That would have probably a 5-foot diameter. Now these type of trees, they're not huge by any stretch of the imagination, not by the forest giants that they would have found in here in the beginning, but you can get a lot of timber out of that tree and you can make a lot of things out of it. And it was timber like that was used to build the fences, it was used to build the house frames, and built the bridges. They built everything you can imagine. They were building it out of timber. And so these forests were being logged from probably about the 1840s onwards. Now some of the first people to come up here were the cedar cutters. So cedar was red gold in Australia. It was a timber that was really prized for address timber. It had a beautiful red finish on it, and a lot of it got shipped back to the UK. Although some of the important people in Australia actually built their house out of red cedar, they built all their furniture out of red cedar, and in a lot of ways that was a sign of your wealth. If you could afford red cedar, then you were made, you were set. Have a look at that. So you can imagine, you got all this red cedar, there's none here, I can't show you in this part of the forest. Another day I'll go for a walk where there is some and I'll show you some. All this forest was full of hardwood and very rich pickings. Right up and down the east coast of Australia, all of these forests were logged. So back in those days there were no roads. They had to cut their own roads, bring their bullock team through, they'd fell timbers, they'd dress them, chop off all the limbs, cut off all the bits they didn't want, and then they would snig them all together and then haul them out. So this area here was part of that, and it was logged up until the 1960s when this area was made into a national park. It wasn't just the hardwood they took. In some of these rainforest areas they took the softwood. They had a plywood mill down at Grafton, and in the early part of the 20th century they were making plywood sheets out of these rainforest trees. It's not that often you get to stand next to one of these. He would have been up there somewhere. And he's fallen. In a storm, let go, the poor fella. He's still growing for now, but he'll be more susceptible to diseases and problems down here. But it's a great opportunity to have a look here. You can see all the lines of spores on the back of the leaves. So this crow's nest is trying to reproduce itself. So normally when it's up in the tree, like there's a little elkhorn up in the tree doing the same thing that the crow's nest was doing, normally the spores would fall down, some of them would catch in the tree, and new ones can grow further down trees. Little ones will just sprout up. I don't really know the origin of these type of ferns, but they've been here a long time and have been part of this forest for quite a while, I reckon. This beautiful old tree is home to many different types of fungi now. They spread their way around. So much beautiful moss as well. Little fungi down in there, different kinds. It's a bit soggy. Didn't get feet too wet. I like walking after the rain, but it is slippery. So take care. Oh! There you go, there was my big skid mark. I'm telling you to take care. I didn't take care. Take care. Righto. We've come from there. We're leaving behind the rainforest now. We're moving into. You don't want to go there. We haven't got a tent. Gumtree forest, the western forest. We're going to go this way. 5.9 kilometres. Sun's over there. It's in the north, so we're turning to the west now. Keep hearing the lyrebird in the background now and then. Always seems to be when there's a plane going overhead. We seem to be in a flight path. All the things to mimic a car alarm, hey? Wonder how many of those have gone off in the campground or the car park area while people were not there attending. The last time I walked through this stretch of forest, there was a lot more evidence of burning. It was a couple of years ago, but I'll tell you what, it's grown a lot since then. It's greened up a lot since then, and while there's still plenty of evidence of burning on these bigger trees from all the undergrowth and the scrub, you wouldn't know it. You can see the fire blackening up these trees here. Reached up quite a way. Some of them, like that one over there in the background, middle of your screen now, seem to reach most of the way up, but still, the trees have been healthy and happy. Still carrying on. And these fern trees, tree ferns, they're glorious. Some of these would be like 8 metres tall, 7-8 metres tall. Here's a little one. Just behind him, there's some granddaddies. Just have a look at those ones. Massive big ferns. Another thing I like here is this beautiful old log. I got no idea what it is, but just look at the beautiful textures in that. Now this must be hardwood. It must be one of these eucalypts. But beautiful, just beautiful. So much to see in this forest. It doesn't stop. It doesn't stop amazing. It just keeps delivering. That's what I'm trying to say. Really enjoying it. This will be why they call it the tree fern walk. She's a beauty, isn't it? And it just keeps changing. Always something new to see. Tell you what, folks who set these walks up, they really knew their stuff. They went out of their way to keep us entertained, amused, educated, and bewildered probably. Some big old timbers here. And plenty of them. Stop and have a lunch break. Recharge the batteries a bit. And then it's about another 4k's to go. We're going to go back to the granite country where it's going to be good. Now look at that. I wanted a place to stop for lunch and somebody has left me a nice seat that I can sit on. Good stuff. That was a deep one. So the forest has changed again. We've come now into this more open woodland. You can see there's a lot more shrubs, small shrubs. See there's some nice grass trees around. The gum trees are much smaller here, much more stunted. There's been some significant fire through this area. Some of the smaller trees have been burnt out, but you can see the fires are a little while away. There's evidence in things like these grass trees growing their skirts back, and also some of these other small eucalypts starting to come up through the area. We walk through the edge of a swamp now, some of this heathland. These are beautiful through spring and summer. There are so many areas of wildflowers in them. There's some deeper holes than you expect. You're walking along, it's pretty solid. It's a few inches deep, then you go down a big one and you nearly lose your boot. These boots are waterproof. It's not a problem. It's not too cold today. The water's nowhere near freezing, so there's no big issue. If I did this on a wintry morning and we've just had a sub-zero temperature, this would be a very different feeling. Unbelievable, huh? Just look at all these white things here. Now these must be the egg of some insect that's been laid. You walk around these areas and you think it's like the middle of winter. Now we're 2 weeks off winter, everything's dying in autumn, it's all going to sleep, it's all settling down. Then you come across a little patch just like this, where there's half a dozen different types of flowers going on. This one here is in flower. Look at this bush. It's about to be a mass of blooms. You got this is a little grevillea. And this thing here has got a flower like a wattle, but it doesn't have a leaf like a wattle. I'm not sure what that plant is. These beautiful yellow flowers. You got the white flowers over there. I wonder if they're related. And then some of these have got these little purple flowers. Have a look at those. And it's spectacular and unexpected at this time of year to find all of this scattered around in these little bushes here, bursting out into bloom. So we've climbed up some hills, we're back up at some elevation, and we're going to walk through a little bit of granite country now and then go down a spur. And then we link back up with the little Dandara Creek walk to finish our way back into the back into Mulligan's. So we've come a fair way, still got a little way to go. If I had to guess wildly, I would say 3 kilometres, something like that. Holy dooly, it's May. Now, it's May, so what are you doing here? You're meant to be here at Christmas, which is not May. I've never seen these open at this time of year before. It has been unseasonably warm. We haven't had any frosts at all yet. Normally, you'd expect to see plenty of frosts as we go. Look, there's another one. It's not just one freaky one. There's another one. The weather must cool down soon, and we must see frost soon. There's a lot of water around here. After the rain, these paths all become fairly soggy. So if you do come walking, be prepared to walk through some water. It's not deep enough to drown you, which is just as well, because I'm not a strong swimmer. It does make the rock slippery, so just take your time and be careful. And unlike last time I told you to be careful, I'm going to be careful. Yeah. Now that looks like a bit of a waddle. There's quite a few of them in the area just around this little bit of bush. What I really enjoy about this walk is how varied everything is. You get to see so many different types of environment. Dense rainforest, the big timber country, these drier scrubby forests, the high altitude wetlands and heaths, you name it, we get a bit of all of it, and just in one walk. I think it's one of my favourite walks here, this particular one, just because of that. And it doesn't matter what time of year you do it. You know, each time of year has its own special things, but if you come at springtime, you might see some waratahs, you'll see plenty of flowers. If you come in summer, you're going to see plenty of snakes. You might see some leeches and some ticks, but you'll see lots of things. You know, still lots of wildflowers. In autumn we're still getting heaps of flowers. And I know that I've been here in winter, and while you wouldn't call heaps of flowers, I know that in winter time there's still some stuff flowering. There's still wildlife around, there's still things to see. And a lot of the time in the cooler months, there's nowhere near as many people. So if you like to walk alone and to get some space for yourself, which I love, the winter time's a great time to walk. Lots of people stay home, they're all rugged up, or they've all gone to the coast. So get out, find a mountain, and walk up one. She's a beauty. Anyway, I'm going to wrap this up now. The rest of the walk you'll have to discover for yourself. There's more here to see than I've shown you today, that's for sure. Well, what a beautiful place, and I tell you what, I've never come here and regretted my time or my day or my energy, and I'm feeling good today. I'm going to go finish this walk and go home, but I'll see you in the next video. Thanks a lot for watching. We'll see you later. Bye bye.